Welcome back to the Roberta Show, a space for real conversations, real growth, and real transformation. I'm your host, Roberta Tabb, the Affirmation Architect. And today, I want to talk about something that I believe keeps more people stuck than fear ever could. We're going to talk about avoidance. Because the truth is, fear is normal, fear is human, fear is part of growth. But avoidance? Avoidance is what keeps you disconnected from the life you're trying to create. Part 1. The lie we believe about fear. I think many people spend years trying to get rid of fear. They tell themselves, I'll start when I'm more confident. I'll do it when I'm less afraid. Or, I'll move forward when I know it's going to work. But that's not how growth works. Fear doesn't disappear before you take action. Fear often shows up because you're about to do something meaningful. Think about it. Every major decision you've ever made probably came with some fear. Starting something new, ending something that no longer aligned, speaking up, taking a risk, changing your life. Fear was always there. But so was growth. The problem isn't fear. The problem is when fear becomes the reason you stop moving. Part 2. How avoidance disguises itself. Avoidance is sneaky because it rarely announces itself. It disguises itself as preparation, as perfectionism, as needing more time, as waiting for clarity, and as I'll do it tomorrow. Avoidance sounds reasonable. That's why so many people stay trapped in it. But if we're being honest today, how many things have you been avoiding? The conversation you need to have, the goal you keep putting off, the decision you've already made in your heart, the boundary you've been afraid to set, or the dream you keep talking yourself out of. Avoidance creates temporary relief, but long-term frustration. Because deep down, you know. You know what needs your attention. You know what you've been postponing, and you know where you've been playing small. Part 3. The cost of avoidance. Every time you avoid something important, you send yourself a message. That message that says, I don't trust myself. I don't believe I'm ready. And I'm going to let fear make this decision. And over time, that damages self-trust. That's why avoidance is so costly, not because it delays results, but because it disconnects you from yourself. I think one of the greatest acts of self-empowerment is learning to sit with discomfort instead of running from it. Because discomfort is not always danger. Sometimes discomfort is growth. Sometimes discomfort is healing, and sometimes discomfort is proof that you're stretching beyond the limits you've placed on yourself. And that's where transformation begins. Not when fear disappears, but when you stop allowing fear to lead. Part 4. Choosing movement over comfort. Courage is not fearlessness. Courage is movement despite fear. Confidence isn't certainty. Confidence is trusting yourself enough to take the next step. You don't need to know every answer. You don't need a guarantee. You don't need perfect timing. You need willingness. A willingness to stop avoiding the things that could change your life. I want you to really hear this. The life you're trying to create is often sitting on the other side of the thing you've been avoiding. The conversation, the action, the decision, the risk, the growth. What if this is the season you stop waiting? What if this is the season you stop negotiating with your potential? What if this is the season you stop letting fear sit in the driver's seat? Because you deserve to experience what happens when you trust yourself enough to move. Not perfectly, not fearlessly, but honestly. Just one step at a time. Welcome to your affirmation work. Take a deep breath and repeat these affirmations slowly as many times as needed. Fear is a feeling, not a stop sign. I do not need to eliminate fear to move forward. I trust myself enough to take the next step. I release the habit of avoidance. Growth requires courage, and courage lives within me. I stop postponing what I know is meant for me. My future is built through action, not hesitation. I am capable of handling what comes next. I choose movement over avoidance. I choose growth over comfort. I choose myself. Here's your alignment check-in. Ask yourself, what have I been avoiding that I already know needs my attention? The truth is, avoidance protects your comfort but delays your growth. This week's action is to choose one thing you've been avoiding and take one small step toward it this week. Not next month. Not when you feel ready. This week or even today, because movement creates momentum. And momentum will change your life. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Remember, fear is not the enemy. Avoidance is. The moment you stop avoiding what matters, you begin creating the life you've been waiting for. I'll see you in the next episode of The Roberta Show.